This is Richard Skank, aka Teacher Man, now a 70-year-old grandpa. He didn't play pro ball, he didn't even play Division I in college. He is just a baseball fan. He researched the best hitters and reverse engineered their swings, creating an incredible hitting instruction program that had a profound impact on the career of Aaron Judge by helping him go from this to this. We will explore his story and his findings, how he started coaching Judge right before his explosive Rookie of the Year performance, breaking down how his hitting program shaped Judge's swing, and the surprising backlash he faces even though he has all the evidence to show his hitting philosophies work. Skank's story starts back in 2004.
It was 2.5 years in my basement trying to duplicate Barry Bonds. I would take a swing and video it and then put it on my computer next to Bonds and just see all the differences, and there were many.
And he began to figure it out and found a way for his son, really the main reason he began this project, to implement it into his game, and he found huge improvements.
And it took me about 2.5 years, but through a lot of trial and error, I figured it out. So I taught it to my son, who was at Division III baseball at that time. And when he figured it out, he had instant success. It was just a dad and a son project, me trying to help my son.
His videos he was posting about his swing theory and the success his son was having caught the eye of David Matrenga, a AAA player with very short stint in the big leagues as well. Him and Shank worked together, but David retired and eventually became an agent. I'm sure you can guess whose. More on him later. The years go on, and in the meantime, Judge is working his way through his career, first getting drafted out of high school in 2010 in the 31st round by the A's, but passing it up to play at Fresno State to continue to develop as a player and get an education. He then got drafted again as a junior, signing for $1.8 million as a first-rounder, taking that opportunity in 2013 and moving on to pro ball. Judge had raw talent, strength, and size, of course, but was still largely an unpolished player as he started his pro career. Scouts knew there was untapped potential in there, and that is why he got drafted as high as he did. As it turns out, he didn't actually rack up a ton of home runs in college, hitting 2 as a freshman, 4 as a sophomore, and a better year with 12 as a junior, so over a 169-game span in 3 years, he hit just 18 homers. The concern for scouts was his swing and miss, with the strikeout rate being elevated anywhere from 20 to 30% in both college and in the minors. Scouts were aware players his size can struggle for various factors like having a lack of mobility and speed, and struggling to hit pitches lower in the zone, but it really was that power threat that made his case. Fortunately for Judge, and little did Yankees fans know, fortunately for them later, the 2016 Yankees season was a rough one. This was pre-Mickey Mouse playoffs where 12 teams made it, so 84 wins didn't cut it. Anecdotally, I went to the last game of that season, Mark Teixeira's last game actually. Anyways, Judge got the September call-up as the Yankees lost their playoff hopes to give him a shot and test him out when there was nothing to lose anymore, which is typical of teams at this point in the season. Judge struck out more than half his 84 at-bats and hit 179, but showed some positives with 9 walks and 4 homers. It was not a performance to write home about. He just seemed like another minor leaguer that had some potential, and the Yankees would have to see how he progressed. But in the offseason, that is where the story really comes to life. Judge was not pleased with his performance in 2016 and wanted to improve for the upcoming season. He can explain it better than I can.
Yeah, so 2016 in the big leagues for like 2 months in the year, I hit 179, like brutal, getting booed, like, man, this ain't for me, you know. And actually, it was my agent that brought up, hey, I got this hitting coach that I worked with a little bit, near the end of my career. He still works with guys. I think you should check him out. I said, that's like, Dave, give me anybody, because I'll take anything over the 179 and the performance I put out there. So I flew out to Arizona to meet him. Bro, I'm telling you, like that, I hit a couple balls. And it was like instantly different. I felt like I've never hit a baseball like that. So I remember getting back in the car with Rob right after we hit for like an hour or two, and I said, bro, I think I'm hitting 50 homers next year.
And it turns out he was setting his expectations too low, and no one had any idea what was coming from Aaron Judge in 2017.
Swung on and hit in the air. To deep left center. It is high. It is far. It is gone.
There it goes. See ya. Oh my, put into orbit.
I mean, what this kid is doing is utterly amazing.
High drive, left field. Pierce back, track, wall. He's done it again. That one is drilled to right field. There it goes. See ya. Oh my goodness, what a shot. There's the story. See ya. What a blast. Deep to left field. Going back Cabrera. Looking up.
2 with one swing of the bat. Puts the Yankees on top.
I think you guys all know the rest of his story, as Judge still easily remains one of the best players in the major leagues. And I'm sure some of you will comment, the playoffs. Yeah, I know, he must have some mental block there. But anyways, he's still one of the best players, and he's on a ridiculous pace still. So let's get into the how Judge improved his swing so much one offseason, and basically continued to get better and better working with Richard Skank, which will focus on his hitting approach and how he helped Judge so much.
What I teach is a rearward snap of the barrel versus a forward push of the barrel. And the rearward snap of the barrel is where what I call launch quickness comes from. Launch quickness is the ability to get your barrel up to speed quickly. Aaron had good bat speed. I did not improve his bat speed, but I got his speed up to speed quicker. And therefore, he can wait longer before he has to make a commitment to a pitch. I didn't help him be more powerful. I helped him hit the ball. He was already very powerful, but he was inconsistent hitting the ball. Now, based on his quickness, he can get his barrel of the ball quicker and his power appears.
And Judge gives a great glimpse of some of the things they worked on when he gave some insights on MLB Network last year working in the cage.
For me, it more started in my setup. In years past, my hands have kind of been more, like they couldn't see the pitcher, is what I like to say. Like I want my hands to see the pitcher, because then I feel like I have an easy lane to go oppo, middle, and inside. So in years past, when my hands would be kind of up back here, then I'd load. Well, dang, how am I going to try to get 97 on the inside corner? Like I got to get my hands into a position. Then I got to try to take that swing, and by that time, 97, especially if it's sinking, moving, riding, it's by me. I just got into a position where almost like my setup, I want to get in this position where if I had to swing from right here, I could. I feel comfortable where, hey, I could, if he quick pitches me or does something, I know I can take a swing from this position. So then now it's from, okay, here I can swing from, now just lift your leg and add a little bit more.
And your load, do that again real quick, because your load goes right, now your hands are here. Before they were back here.
They were back here. So now I got this open lane to where, okay, it's 97 in, well, my hands are right here. I can go straight through the baseball and not have to make an extra move or waste any time. And just staying in a good spot here to where like I can fire whenever I want. Like I feel like at times in my career before, I was so focused on like my load and like my hands moving and like getting a good stretch that I'd lose that feeling of like being able to swing. Because there'd be so many times a pitcher would come in and be like, how did I take that? It's right down the middle. But my body knew it wasn't in a good position to swing from. So now, no matter what, before you even throw it, I can swing from here. So 97, 30 miles an hour on a flip, we're ready to go.
Watch this clip of Richard building out the swing anatomy, and you will see similarities of what he does that is coming out in Judge's setup, load, and eventual swing.
The forward move, the coil move, the back stretch move. But we have to do them all together. Okay? All at once, and I create this window of time from here to there. I'm doing this, trying to keep my foot off the ground, but at some point, because I'm going forward, it's going to come down. That's when I want to swing the bat.
And I want to focus more on that load. It's like Judge hits off that back leg, and that's where a lot of the power is coming from, and Rich taught him this, and it was super crucial to Judge's success.
When I stretch and fire from one leg and launch before this leg is weighted, not before it's on the ground, but before it receives any weight, I can hit an outside pitch like this, which is the tilt of the torso, the tilt of the hip socket over the ball of the femur, and I can deliver the energy and fall into ball flight. If I'm one-legged, have a stretch and fire, and I tilt my energy through a ball down the middle, I can crush it and have my energy go right into ball flight. If I'm one-legged with a stretch and fire around my leg and I get an inside pitch, I can pivot quickly to that ball and follow through into ball flight. Okay? Aaron was taught, get your foot down 50-50, 60-40, rotate. The only way you can do that and hit an outside pitch is to disconnect from the rotation and push your arms outside. With one-leggedness, your pelvis, your leg and pelvis unit, because they become fused into a unit, has directional ability that you can make the energy go whatever direction you want it to go.
With the front toss, to kind of help with my load and feeling comfortable being early, I like to do a couple, kind of a hang drill. Like I basically get in my position where I'm hanging, I'm on this back side, and I kind of go off of you. Now when you go to toss, that's when I get into that position, and kind of like coaches talk about like that slow and early, like this. I'm slow and I'm early in this position. So now, if I fast forward to the game, like my normal stride, I feel like I got all the time in the world. I'm like, dang, I was starting right here and really having to hold it and use my, my back muscles, my glutes. But now, like, it just simplifies everything for me. I'm doing the extreme to bring it down to normal game.
And that's the purpose.
And here's another clip of Judge talking about his ability to load on that back leg.
Because
working with the hitting coach I use, Rich. He really talks to me about my back leg, your back hip. If you have all that weight, all that power into that back leg and back hip, that's when you can really sit there and balance and see the baseball. I think that's the most important thing is if I get in a position where I can see the baseball and I'm in a strong position, that's 3/4 of the battle right there. Now it's just about, just take a good swing and, see what happens. But, I think it was probably going from 16 into 17. That's what he really broke down to me because in 16 I had a big leg kick. I almost was falling forward, like really trying to impact the baseball hard, and he kind of really showed me that, hey, take a look at these other great hitters around the league. Look at, Barry Bonds. We'd watch Barry Bonds, all day. And he'd just show me like how he was so in his back leg. He had the toe tap and everything, but even when he toe taps, it didn't matter. Like his weight was all locked in on that backside. So then if they hung something, he's still in a good position to ride out that backside and take a good swing. So I think for me, that was the biggest game changer, just learning how to use my lower half, like really just focusing on one leg. And then for me, I think that allowed me to start hitting the breaking ball because kind of, through the minor leagues, it was like I'd kill fastballs, but off speed pitches was almost like if I wasn't sitting on it, I was just out in front and I drilled in the ground or swing and miss. So when I'm able to really stay on that backside and wait on it and just be ready when he's about to release it, it's game over. Like now I can wait. Now I can recognize the pitch, see what's coming. Oh, is it a fastball? I'm ready for a fastball. Take your swing. Oh, it's off speed. Like just ride out that backside, ride it out, and then still take the same swing.
All right, so there's tons of footage to go over of Teacher Man with Judge and analyzing different ways he helped him. And they meet up during the season at batting cages, which is pretty interesting to me. But I wanted to get into the controversy that surrounds him. He's definitely brazen, which probably rubs people the wrong way, and has quite bold claims.
It's my opinion that if any organization would ask me to consult, I don't want to be their hitting coach in uniform in a dugout somewhere, but if any organization would ask me to consult and teach their teachers, teach their coaches, and I would roam from their A to AA to AAA to MLB teams regularly, they would be an offensive juggernaut. They wouldn't even have to draft pitchers. They could hit so well that everybody would want their hitters that they could trade for the best pitchers. They would have so many of them.
So obviously he's onto something with what he's doing, but this is a pretty absurd claim, essentially saying no team has good hitting coaches or hitting programs. The logic, if that he coached or consulted all these teams they'd rake, is not really that sensible. And what one person teaches probably doesn't always work for another. It's just not that cookie cutter. So maybe it's his righteous nature, and it's all over his Twitter as well, that kind of gets under people's skin. And there are people who straight up think what he's teaching is bogus. But of course, there is evidence that clearly it's not. But if you coach a 2-time MVP record-setting hitter, I'm sure you may brag about that too, and it could easily blow up someone's head that they are a guru now. What is crazy is that people out there are basically attacking him and making fun of him constantly, and he has to defend himself. There's one guy who literally does not stop tweeting, ex-player Jeff Fry, who got the nickname Judy, which is a reference to a punch and Judy hitter who just primarily hit singles, so he ran with it and he called himself Judy. It definitely gets dished both ways. As I said, Teacher Man is pretty much just as bold, but anyways, this guy, among others, just go on and on making fun of him. I mean, this man has 30.8 thousand tweets. Teacher Man has 49.9 thousand. If you go on Twitter and check it out, it's pretty insane. It's every day, relentless, truly out of hand with the hitting debates. My personal opinion is that no matter what argument you can come up with against Teacher Man, and there definitely are some, I think it's a bad look to attack him when he has the high ground of helping produce the likes of Judge and other big leaguers he works with. To me, he has a force field around him. You can't really argue against that. My last thought in this whole situation is another shocking thing to me is how MLB teams have not reached out to him, though.
But I am surprised that no Tiger and no Yankee coach or general manager or player development player has ever picked up the phone and called me and said, what the hell are you doing?
The Yankees are too stuck in their ways to even have a conversation with this coach who their star player, their literal captain, uses, and he relies on more than any of their coaches and have zero contact with him. I just feel like that's a bad look. They probably think they're too smart or too above talking to this guy and going over stuff. And honestly, the entire major leagues ignoring outside coaching that players may use makes me think that they're too good for it. So basically, that's a wrap on the Richard Skank story. I think it's very interesting. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. Definitely look into it for yourself. Check out that Twitter. I'll be back with some other stuff as soon as I can. And thanks for watching.